Welcome back, everybody, to your second and final Pro Dota 2 playoff match of the day. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com, and of course I am joined by my good colleague David Parker himself, I being David Gorman. Together we are David and David, and we're casting Infused versus Zenith.
Well, nice to be here, actually awake for this one, David. So we're going to get into a East versus West match. We've got Zenith up against Infused, contrary to what any Dota TV overlay may say. This is the Pro Dota 2 Pro League playoffs and a first round match. And we've got, Loda up against some fellow Swedes here. We've got Bleak playing as a stand-in for Infused, and we've got Infused first picking a Darks here.
And we've got the only hero that GoDz currently is willing to say is pretty much auto-ban worthy in his book. And I mean, that's a big thing to say, because I know you're generally of the school of thought that more or less all heroes are viable to some degree, and all heroes can be countered. We've seen it with Lycan. As strong as he is, he's had a lot of issues. Darkseer is the kind of hero, though. No matter what happens, he will always make contributions. Now, he will lose games. He won't always win. But no matter what, he's going to be a pesky nuisance, whether it's the laning stage, team fights, chases, it doesn't matter. This guy does it all, and he does it damn well.
No, absolutely. He's going to be a very relevant hero just because of his versatile skill set. And we'll see Zenith retaliate. They get up the Chen and the Naga Siren, so not surprised. Naga Siren was kind of the trade-off that they got for giving up the Darkseer as a first pick. They can set up a big team fight with the Naga Siren. They can play as a carry, and most of the time I've seen Zenith using it, they've gone for that tankier build. They haven't gone straight for the hard arm. They're actually the only team I've seen. They rushed a Lincoln Sphere on it, and then I think it was a Lincoln's and then a hard, in fact, or a Lincoln's Diffusal. So we'll see what Zenith want to do this time with it. I think it was iceiceice who played it last time. They get the Chen as well, so there's xfreedom's Chen. And they're going to be looking to get probably a bit of pushing momentum going with this team. Maybe mix in a little team fight, get something like a Tidehunter as well, or the Enigma. Enigma can add some additional push, can give them that team fight to combo with the Naga Siren Ultimate. Or, they can always just use it to be very aggressive. Infused, on the other hand, Templar Assassin, Wagamama's trademark hero, and some very, very cool picks coming out. I'll leave that for you to talk about, LD.
Too much to talk about, man. Oh my goodness. I just want to make a quick point about Naga Siren. This hero, I like her as a pick, especially against Darkseer, because if they get matched up in the lane, and I expect they will be, generally Darkseer going to be in the off lane, generally Naga Siren going to be in the safe lane. That net is a great way to punish him for using Surge to really negate its potency as an escape mechanism. So I do like that pick in the laning stage, and of course for all her other many valuable traits, which you've talked about at great length. And well, Templar Assassin, this is Wagamama's one of his signature heroes. It's a hero. He was incredibly excited when it came out in Dota 2. I have not gotten to see him play it at all. I've seen a lot of great TA players. Now, I will point out there's a Venomancer in the pool, and that can cause a lot of issues for the Templar. We'll have to see if Zenith want to go that route. But Visage, this is a hero that Absolute Legends ran yesterday. Faced off against Quantic. I doubt you caught those matches, but it was a best out of 3. Pretty late in the American nighttime. And did you watch them?
My power went out as the first game started. I heard the stories, heard the recap, watched the next two matches. But yeah, Visage tri-lane tore apart Quantic apparently.
Yeah, and they had a strong tri-lane too. I forget what Quantic had. I know it had like a Shadow Demon and a Venomancer. It was not a weak tri-lane by any means. And well, we'll have to see if they actually run him in a tri-lane. That is generally why you pick him up. And we'll just have to see. He does so much burst damage potential. The problem for him is he does have big mana issues, and we'll have to see. If you get a good start, that doesn't become an issue, but if you have a bad start, then you're not going to be able to spam those abilities nearly as much as you would like to.
Yeah, and the Sand King for Zenith, I think Sand King does okay against Templar Assassin. You can cancel all the epicenter with the refraction, but it's just another disable. You want to get at least a couple more sort of lockdown heroes and spells just to help deal with that Templar Assassin. So we'll see Zenith playing that. Can run as a support, but I feel they may go for a sort of more farming role. And you were speaking about the Venomancer. Infuse going to ban it off right off the bat, and it could have easily fit into Zenith lineup. They could run it even as a support hero. They don't even have to match it up in a one-to-one matchup. It's just very annoying. So Zenith's going to have to go a different route to deal with TA, and that's going to be probably just sort of stacking a couple different disables. It's Zenith themselves who ban out the Tidehunter, so we're not going to be seeing that comboed with the Naga Siren, but I feel with the Sand King, there's enough AoE damage, there's enough teamfight havoc. And the Naga Siren ultimate pretty much guarantees Sand King can get at least some sort of an epicenter off. So Infused, they've got the Darkseer, so there's your pipe. They need a hero probably to buy up that mech for them. And I feel if they can get a mech and pipe sort of setup going, where's the damage actually going to come for Zenith? That's going to be the big issue for me. Whereas Infused, they've got the Templar Assassin, they've got Visage, which gives you great focus fire potential. This is a scary looking lineup.
I love how versatile Infused opening is. Now, because they have a Visage, because they have a Darkseer Templar Assassin, my best guess is we are going to see a tri-lane with the Visage and the Templar Assassin, and Darkseer taking the 2 solo positions, but we'll have to see if that's how things shake out, and I really like this ban as well. Banning out 2 of the heroes that can be a nuisance for Templar Assassin. Venomancer much more so than Queen of Pain, but the great thing about Queen of Pain is Templar Assassin relies on chasing, and Blink is pretty much going to negate her ability to keep up with you, unless she gets a Blink Dagger, but that's a big item to farm. So I like this. I also like the Enigma ban coming out, and, well, I'm not even going to talk about the Enigma ban, because now we have a Keeper of the Light. Is Infused, do they have some sort of a deal? Do they have to pick all the new heroes in one game? This is too much, man. This is too much.
Yeah, this is, I mean, they're getting a lot of these new heroes, not to mention new heroes, but they're kind of fringe picks. I mean, they're all viable heroes. I'd say
Right.
TA, Coddle, Visage are all heroes that get picked, but you don't often see them all used up. You'll see them more maybe a Visage in a tri-lane with some sort of strong, heavy disables and lockdown and very aggressive. I mean, you can put him with that Keeper of the Line. It actually sort of makes sense because Visage is nuke chews through a lot of mana, so I think we'll see those two together in a sort of tri-lane of sorts, with the Darkseer Templar Assassin running as the 2 solos. They may want to go aggressive tri-lane. They need some sort of a stun here, and I feel this is where they get something like an ES for a ranged stun, or at least they need something with a bit more survivability to be either sit back and just throw down a stun like an ES, or something to be at the front lines brawling it out. I mean, even dare I mention it, a Sven. I mean, they need something that can just sort of tank it up a bit, I feel, for their tri-lane.
Well, it has some potential. Sven also has big mana issues. Keeper of the Light can help with that. Now, he can't keep everybody's mana pool up all at once in the early game. It will be the Earthshaker, and this tri-lane, quite potent offensively, decent defensively, I'll say. They're a little bit squishy, Visage and Keeper of the Light in particular. Very squishy by nature. Zenith pick up a bit of damage. They go for the Tinker, and I'm not sure it's enough, to be honest. I do feel like they need more. Maybe even another carry. I mean, they have their support options here. The Chen, the Sand King could be put in that support role. It's strange to see a team that is a Tinker and a Naga who can be thought of as a hard carry, and then walk away from the dressing. Do they really have enough damage? Do they have enough lockdown? I'm not sure they do, and where do you go here for Zenith? I mean, these are all great heroes, don't get me wrong. But Infused lineup is kind of terrifying. If that tri-lane works, and that's a big if.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's terrifying, and that's to say they haven't really got many top-tier heroes apart from the Darkseer. They've just put together a very scary-looking tri-lane, and they've got... I mean, the thing is, Darkseer just gives you room to do so much because he's one of the strongest souls in the game. He can win most 1v1 matchups. He does fine against tri-lane. He does fine against dual lanes. There's not many situations where you don't want to have a Darkseer. I mean, you can just send him whichever lane you want. You can solo mid, you can go jungle. So as a result, it's gave Infused huge flexibility with the rest of their team. And this tri-lane, I mean, while being unconventional and something out of the ordinary, is going to cause Zenith some problems. There's going to be a lot probably banking on the Chen and just Zenith laning as defensively as possible. To me, that's the key thing. Be defensive, don't give Infused any kills, and they pick up Winrunner last. I like this. It's another very defensive laning hero. Well, a strong laning hero. It doesn't have to always be defensive. It can win 1v1 matchups. It can do okay against tri-lanes, but it's a hard-to-kill hero, and it's a hero that specializes in the laning phase. So this is going to be something to just sort of make it harder for Infused to get those free kills.
Yeah, she's a bit of an escape artist, the Sandcade as well. And, well, I want to say about Infused lineup, the big thing they really have going for me is great synergy. You talked about the mana that can be given to Visage as well as Earthshaker, and how we've seen the synergy between Keeper of the Light and Earthshaker in the lane, but it goes beyond that. Darkseer, great setup with the Vacuum into Gargoyles, into Fissure, into Echo Slam. That is some scary potential there. By the way, those Gargoyles can provide insane lockdown if you actually are able to set up the stuns, the stomps, I believe they're called, properly. So, as far as Infused lineup go, I mean, it's not just that these heroes, some of them really seem really strong, Templar, Assassin, Darkseer, it's the way that they all fit together. With that being said, Zenith do get a very strong defensive lineup. It's not even just the Windrunner, it's not even just the Chen, it's also the Naga Siren with the Sleep, the Net, a lot of defensive capabilities for her too. And Sandcade, a bit of an escape artist in his own right, so... Unfortunately, it looks like we will have a remake. I can't believe that I have to have this game delayed. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about these picks. Ah!
Well, a combination of AL competing as well as a 6 Zenith player means we're going to have to remake, and the anticipation, it's going to have to build up even further as we do get into... This is just game 1 of 3. This is the best of 3, so I'm looking forward to this.
I know, right? Are you kidding me? What can they no matter how this game plays out, unless a team just concedes in 3 minutes, which would be kind of unfortunate. Aside from that, I just don't know how game 2 or game 3 can remotely deliver. I'm sure, that being said, these teams will surprise us. But this is a pretty amazing start to this best out of 3. Infused, give Wagamama his due, whether this works or not. Zenith are known as the team who picks a little bit unconventionally, but it is Infused. Very... sure, we've talked about how strong these heroes can be, how they synergize. This is a very unconventional lineup. And even if you look at Dota 1, most of these heroes don't see a lot of play. Templar Assassin, kind of a fringe pick in the Southeast Asian scene. And, I mean, we look towards Darkseer, yeah, he's a pretty stable pick in Dota 1. Keeper of the Light, doesn't see a lot of play. Visage, never played. That guy, he's basically a fossil. You know, not even just in looks, but also in how often he's used in Dota 1 nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, it was just sort of a bit of a coincidence. It was just used last night by AL, but before that, I mean, he's been used maybe once or twice. I think Zenith picked him, as they've done with every new hero when he first came out, against some team that they were expected to beat regardless. So often they'll sort of pull out some of those sort of unexpected picks, just sort of to test out. I mean, they've run the gyrocopter, they've ran basically everything and anything you can think of. They've ran the PL. They've done all kinds of things. So I think they've used him once, but apart from that, teams have not been using him at all. And he did get nerfed pretty hard. I mean, back in Dota 1, he was a top pick in the sort of the era of Trilance. I mean, teams still run Trilance, but it used to be every game it was a 3-1-1 setup, and that's where Visage was really popular. He had a buffed up nuke, and since then, he's been nerfed a bit. He's not as strong as he once was, but it seems a few teams are still saying he could fit into the current metagame.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're right or they're wrong. I think the only new hero I have not seen yet is the Nyx Assassin, so I look forward to that. But I was forgetting the name, so I'm glad I have a moment here. It is Soul Assumption. That is the big mana drain for him, and Keeper of the Light will really help negate that. It's just such a great combination. This is the downside to Visage. If you have a bad fight or two, if you don't get those early mana regen items up, if you don't convert your Soul Assumptions into kills, this is a 160 mana nuke at level 1. It's not exactly spammable. So Keeper of the Light is going to help a lot in that regard.
Yeah, and it does allow Visage to be a lot more viable. The problem is that you've then got two sort of ranged heroes who don't have disables, don't have great slows. I mean, Visage does have that Grave Chill. You can use it, but often it's something that's not really, that you don't even get. Sometimes you'll go for the nuke with the passive just because of how much mana the Grave Chill does chew through if you're opting to get that as well as the Soul Assumption. So I feel that that's sort of where the weakness lies with that Trilane is it's not like you're doing a dual stun with a third nuke to go with it. I mean, they've only got the ES Fissure to set things up. If they can time that with the Illuminate, though, there's enough to burst down a hero almost instantly. So that's going to be the key thing, just getting that synergy going. Be interesting to see what Bleak's playing as he's the stand-in here. Maybe see him playing something like the Darkseer or, I mean, possibly in the Trilane, but for the most part, it's going to be interesting. Zenith themselves can have a stand-in as well, as XY is apparently a bit sick, but something plaguing this tournament currently. A few stand-ins. I know you're not happy about it, but it happens some of the time, I've got to say.
I'm not happy about it. I do understand, especially for some of these teams where they may have a sponsor's tag, but it doesn't mean that they're living off of what they do for Dota. It's only a couple of teams where they're making it up between streaming and as well as the team sponsorship, where they can do it full time. And even then, you're still human. People get sick in pro sports too. It does happen, so it's to be expected, and people have obligations as well. But that being said, obviously, we both would prefer to see the full rosters, and that's the beauty of the international gods, is it will be the full rosters, unless somebody has some sort of deathly illness, which I'm praying XY does not.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. I mean, I think it was Luminous who mentioned it. I mean, the way they've set the group stage, they've just sort of had basically what's been spoiled by a lot of people. They're going to have a group stage with basically two big groups of teams and just have heaps of matches. And it's like, well, it's kind of cool because they've got all the best teams in the world. Why not just have them play a heap of matches against each other? And that's what we're going to see. And this is the first time, so online, you get all these teams. Last year, you had only a couple of the Chinese teams. They weren't the Chinese teams that were in form. You're missing out on a few big names as well. Orange weren't there as they had some roster problems as well at the time. So this year, I feel it's the first year where it's going to be absolutely massive and some insane matches.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, and I love the fact that there's just going to be a bunch of matches. Hopefully, they'll all be casted in some way or another. As it is, It's going to be, for anyone who doesn't know, if you do the math for two, again, this has already been spoiled, so I am not leaking anything, but two groups with 8 teams, That's a lot of
Yeah.
matches. They're all going to play each other twice. So, I mean, you run the math on that, and it's happening over the course of only a couple of days. Oh boy. These players, as well as the casters, to the extent the matches are being cast, they're gonna have their work cut out for them.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's they may as well start playing and practicing like sort of 8 to 10 hours a day, just because that's probably what they're gonna have to endure during those group stages. And we'll see how things go down.
And
As it
and
looks like the teams.
here's the
Oh,
thing: nobody
never
even
mind.
gets
Go ahead.
knocked out, so you don't want to. You were talking about this from. We were having a little chat about this yesterday. It's a lot of teams are going to be probably reserving their strategies, but it goes beyond that. It's not even just your strategies that you want to keep secret, maybe in the back pocket, but it's also your energy. You have to bring
Yeah.
it when the knockout rounds happen. So you can't waste too much early on, but at the same time, you do want to have a good position if possible. It's one of these things where how
Yeah.
much do you give away, how much do you invest to have that good position, and how much do you keep in reserve for the second stage of the event. I feel like for every team's going to have their own answer, and some teams may reveal a little bit more just to have that better position or to have the chance at it. Other teams maybe they're fine with starting farther down in the brackets.
Well, I mean, 14 matches. I mean, you can't prepare that many different strategies. I feel majority of the games is going to be standard, or if people use a bit of an unconventional strategy, it's not going to be one they actually plan to use later on. Maybe they'll just be sort of
Right.
using it as sort of a gimmicky one-off, like they may go level 1 Roshan or something, whereas they weren't planning on doing it later in the tournament. I just feel teams will be hiding a lot. I feel at the same time, I feel as a result of that, it's going to be the more skilled teams that come out on top because they can just win using standard cookie cutter picks and 6 cookie cutter lanes. And then we'll see in the playoffs. That's where, I mean, I remember, I think it was Loda in one of his interviews with the Razor interviews that Team Zenith have been doing. I think he says the scary thing about the playoffs is that any team can upset any team. If you pull out a strategy, maybe it only works once, but there's always potential for upset. So that's where the group stage just sort of acts as a seeding going in. So the top teams get into the winner bracket. The sort of the teams who are less likely to go through do start in the loser bracket. But then anything can happen. Then you've got the potential for all kinds of upsets. I do feel that the group stage does offer a bit of stability, especially when your teams are less likely to go all out just to beat one opponent, because one match does not have a huge significance.
It's the any given Sunday effect. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that expression, but in America we have football games and American football, not soccer. Like the world's football. But either way, every
Yeah.
Sunday these professional teams play games, and well, any given Sunday a team might come out and just have a better performance. Maybe they have a play you're not expecting. The ball just bounces the right way. Maybe you attack uphill and it misses when you need it to hit. You end up dying and they'd snowball from there. In Dota, there is that element of chance. There is that element of randomness. Players can be tired. Players can just be miscommunicating. All sorts of crazy things can happen. And as much as we sort of, as commentators, we want to impose order on the world of Dota and, oh, they're picking this, they're going to lane it like that, and everything's gonna make sense. At the same time, there's this piece of it. Aside from the picks or everything elsewhere, you have no freaking clue what's gonna happen in a given game. And well, that's an interesting name. But anyway, I digress.
That is, and I think that is a Zenith multi, as in it's not a Zenith player, but it's one of the many accounts they use in matchmaking. As I have it on my friends list. I know whenever they play matchmaking, they play on different names and different accounts just so they don't get recognized by players who then go all out and make the game
Well, let
miserable
me
for
tell
them,
you, that
focusing them
name
down.
is very recognizable. Now, they may not know who it is, but it's gonna draw some attention to it. I will say that much. Well, we have a bit of a pause here. Actually, I'm gonna take a look at the brackets right now. I think that's something that I have not actually had too much of a chance. Do you know exactly what the format is for this tournament? Because I'm sure some of the people out there would be curious. Is it single elimination? Is it double? Do we know how many teams are in the playoffs? I'm sure it's all on the Pro Dota 2 website, which I'm gonna bring up right now. Gods, you with me?
I am with you. Format, I think it's double elimination.
Oh, here we go. I found the bracket. Fantastic. I can show you guys while we load it.
Winner of this goes on to verse the winner of the previous match, which was Orange losing to CLG. So the winner of this goes up against CLG, I guess.
Yeah, and then it's an All-American semifinals, bottom versus Quantic. Interesting.
Wow. And
So
then the other loser bracket is IG against
Mouse? No, IG against Orange, and then Mouse against either Infused or Zenith. Interesting.
Okay.
So we have at least one American team who will be in the winner bracket finals. That's not something people would have expected a couple months ago. Okay, we jump back into the game as I believe we have loaded. Oh, we're still waiting, but we should be there soon, guys. I am enjoying my delicious iced tea right now. Toby clued me into this. Apparently it's very good for preserving your voice. I'm not sure if it's working, but it tastes good. Alright, let's just quickly... I'm just gonna run the intro again since we've had a big pause.
Focus trying to go on the run. Nice according with that BKB popping up. Many men skills off the track. BKB up on the wagamama. Free ball for Ricky Maru up on the high ground. There we go. Nice wave up. Dark Tears on the run. And he jumped.
Welcome back, everybody, to an AP remake of game number 1, Infused versus Zenith. Our draft already complete. GoDz and I were just talking at length, gushing about this lineup that Infused has. Now, it could bomb horribly, but boy, is it excited to see these picks. And, you know, it's Zenith who you'd expect to be making these picks, but in the end, or who you might be expecting to based on the recent matches, but it's Infused going for something creative. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com, and of course, joining me is my partner in crime. He's GoDz.
What's up, LD? We do have a crazy trial coming out from Infused. I'll just quickly introduce them, as that's probably the best way to sort of run through what they're doing. We've got Mini playing the Keeper of the Light, Infused EGM playing the Visage. We've got Darkseer in the hands of the stand-in Bleak, wagamama playing his Templar Assassin, and finally Rishon on the Earthshaker. So there's your trialing, there's your unconventional one. It's going to be the ES Visage Coddle. You've got your Darkseer probably playing as a side lane solo, and then Waga can be soloing mid on that Templar Assassin would be my best guess.
Meanwhile, on the side of Zenith, we have iceiceice playing the Naga Siren. Stout Shield already picked up. Stand-in, I believe this is... Actually, I'm not sure who this is, but he is iceiceice, I will call him that, playing the Sand King. Freedom on the Chen. hyhy on the Tinker, he's mid. And down in the bottom lane, it's Loda with 9 Tagos picked up. The second time we've seen 9 Tagos in 2 days' time, and it worked pretty well the last time we saw it, so maybe this is a good sign for Zenith.
Yep, he really wants to have as much regen as possible. It's not the most cost-effective regen, as salves are slightly more cost-effective. They're instant, but of course they can be cancelled, and they're not a gradual thing. You need to be missing more than 400 HP. So at that point, well, you're in a bit of trouble. But he's up against a Darkseer, so this won't be too tough a lane for him at the bottom lane. Mid lane, we've got the Templar Assassin versing a Tinker, and that's a matchup where Tinker's not in too much danger of dying early on, but it's hard to actually outlast hit and outfarm the Templar Assassin, who just gets ridiculous damage with the Refraction. You just spam it at the early levels to win the early last hit battle. You get your bottle, and then you can spam it even more. So, if anything, it's Templar Assassin who has a slight edge in this 1v1 mid matchup.
Yeah, I'm with you. One factor that could tilt things hyhy's way, well, first of all, the Chen, of course, if he shows up in the lane. And that's something to keep in mind for Infused, is they're running an offensive tri-lane, which means if things go badly in this middle lane for whatever reason, wagamama doesn't really have recourse. Nobody in this tri-lane can just solo it if they need to. So, as with offensive tri-lanes, usually this is the case. There is no backup plan, but here's the other thing that works in hyhy's favor. He does have laser, and that means miss chance for Templar Assassin. Even if she's got refraction up, you will still miss. So that can help you, to some degree, negate refraction. I'm with you, though. Overall, Waga should have the edge in the last hitting department, but he's not rushing a bottle, so that might sort of equalize things a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not going to be a fun lane for iceiceice, and he's going to have to get some support. That's the thing. I mean, the Chen can always rotate, help out the mid lane, but he can't really gank and kill wagamama, so his only real option is probably to provide some assistance and protection for iceiceice at the top lane. So I think for the most part, it's going to be SK Chen sort of lurking around top. Zenith's just going to have to take what they can get at mid lane and try just focus on getting some ganks going around the level 6, level 7 point, because they don't really have a setup where they're going to be winning many of these lanes. They're not going to be getting absolutely slaughtered in many. I mean, there's potential to see lots of kills going Infused way at top, but mid lane and bottom should go okay for them farm-wise, and then they just want to use those early levels to start get ganking, start get some momentum, push with the Chen, get down some towers, and just basically start some ganks on some of those key heroes like the Templar Assassin.
I'm with you, and here's the thing about this tri-lane, is they are very strong in the lane. The one thing I will say they're lacking in is they don't really have that ability to go off into the jungle and kill Chen, or the jungler, whether it's a Chen or an Enchantress. This is not like a Venomancer, followed up with some other damage dealer, maybe a Lina or something like that. These are two heroes who are three heroes who are strong in the lane, not very mobile, not incredibly good at chasing. They have a lot of burst damage, but they don't really have that ganky potential. So, although Chen normally would be in a little bit of danger in his own jungle up against an offensive tri-lane, I think Freedom will be fine this game. The real question is going to be, like you mentioned, iceiceice. Can he hang on? Can he avoid dying? Until he hits 6, he's quite killable.
Yep, and I mean, this is not a mobile, they're not mobile at all, these heroes. The ES, the Culversides, their focus is just entirely on the lane. It's kind of like when you pick, to me it reminds me of the Undying tri-lanes, where your focus is just on the lane itself. You can't go gank the jungle with an Undying. ES and the Keeper Light, something a bit similar here. They've got some sentry wards, so looks like they really, maybe expecting the Sand King to be there as a support. Want to make sure that he can't just sit in the sandstorm defending the tower. Of course, you can fissure and blast him down, but maybe just do some dewarding in the jungle as well. But they've got the ward behind tower, so they're going to be very, very aggressive. They've already spotted out iceiceice, I imagine.
Speaking of wards, look at Freedom here. He's got the full support kit. Sentry wards, observer wards, and smoke. I think he was pulled something here, as he does have tangos and a clarity. Nonetheless, this is a lot of early game support items. And the smoke, this is interesting. Maybe he will go for a gank. Now, here's the thing for Infused, is nothing's really that gankable except maybe the tri-lane. Bleak is unkillable, of course, playing that Darkseer, unless you get really lucky with your creeps and your shackles, but let's just call him unkillable. I think that's fair. Templar Assassin, with the Sentry Wards, maybe you can make it go, but realistically, there's no damage over time. There's no real lockdown coming out from Tinker, so probably not, which means this is a Chen whose best bet will be just to farm. He's not really going to have, and maybe try to push. He's not going to have too many options to get kills.
Yeah, no, that's not the, it's still okay for Zenith. I think they can make that work for them. I mean, if they get the fast level 5, get the second creep, but I feel that Zenith only have really one option. What they can do, it's to be defensive for the first for the laning phase. They're not going to win the laning phase, but it's going to come down to once they get level 5 and 6, what they choose to do then with those levels. And with whatever farm they've got. They're going to get slightly out farm, but they've got the stronger mid-game heroes in some senses. They've got, the Windrunner, they've got the Chen push, and Tinker, depending what build he goes, can catch up on farm very quickly if they face some Ancients. He can go for the March of the Machines and the Ancient Killing, but for the most part, I don't think they're going to be looking to stack Ancients here. I haven't really got any heroes suited to doing that, but of course, Tinker can farm very fast anyways and just be a pretty big threat.
Yeah, he certainly can be. I'm curious, who actually has the edge here in the mid-game? I guess Zenith by a touch, but even Infused, they can be aggressive early, but I don't think they go too badly into that mid-game, especially with the Earthshaker pick, because now you have Darkseer and Earthshaker. That's fantastic team fight right there. Good lockdown, good ability to sort of group your opponents up. And if Templar Assassin ever finds the right angle for a couple of refraction right-clicks, maybe a meld, or even possibly a Desolator thrown in there in the mid to late game, or even a Daedalus, wagamama has some good setup to kill multiple heroes almost instantly with that Psyblade splash. So I feel Infused have this pretty scary wombo combo. Zenith have one as well to some degree with the Sand King, the Naga. But it's going to be a little bit hard to find that perfect opening. There's no Ravage here. Burst Strike has some potential to hit multiple heroes, but for the most part, you're probably only going to hit 1 or 2. And Templar Assassin, fairly mobile. Normally built with a lot of mobility. Darkseer, very mobile. I'm not sure how grouped up Infused are going to be. If they play this properly, I'm not sure Zenith really find a huge team fight.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Infused. They can just sort of, just they can just say with this 3-1-1 setup. I mean, Darkseer is a hero who can be ganked by 2 or 3 heroes. Maybe we'll see some rotations once Winrunner gets level 5, level 6, because that's where Darkseer probably may get overconfident, may think he's just up against a solo Winrunner, where one hero, whether it's a Burrow Strike, a Tinker gank, can sort of tilt the scales, and then suddenly Darkseer just overextends a little bit, not expecting those ganks. And we'll see how they want to do this, but for the most part, it's going to be Wagamama just going off playing. I mean, he doesn't have to work as a team. He does his own thing, and that's sort of where Templar Assassin shines. So I feel this 3-1-1 set for Infused is not going to change for a good period of the game until they really need to start grouping up to deal with Zenith's team fight and team pushes.
Well, even though I was super excited for this draft, these players, they are giving me, well, I won't say that on stream, but let's just say they're toying with me or they're taunting me. Because the game, it is not starting. I'm busy counting the number of GG branches that have been purchased in the game. By the way, guys, if you don't buy multiple GG branches every game, and you're not playing that hard support role that Freedom is, you're not doing it right. Look at all these pro players. 2, 3, 2, 3. Multiple GG branches of just about everyone. This is the most cost-effective item in the game.
Yeah, and most of those heroes will be turning those. And as far as cost efficiency, you turn it into a magic wand as well later on, so you're not even losing half the gold later on. It's a fantastic item. But when we're talking about how good GG branches are, you know the teams are keeping you waiting. But for the most part,
well, see, here's the thing: is go to a random pub game, especially a lower skill one, and look at the inventories, and you'll see like boots and a pot, the League of Legends build, and just all sorts of shenanigans. So
I think a lot of Wraithband first and Null Talisman first in pubs, just because I feel it's.
Oh yeah.
I'll get a couple Wraithbands, and it's just one of those things where they're so cost effective, but you don't see them as much in pro games. But it's so good in pub games, just because how teams and players don't expect you to have those cheap little items.
Some snarky comments from the players here, but everyone needs to be put in timeout right now. But. For me, the worst build I've ever seen. My friend has played Dota for longer than me, in fact. He's been playing since Dota 1 for like 7 or 8 years at this point. I think about that, maybe 6 or 7. And he played Slardar, and he gets a belt of giant strength and a set of tangos as a start. So I was like, dude, are you kidding me? Oh my god, literally, probably the worst build I've ever seen. Worse, I dare I say, than even the Gloves of Haste double clarity profit build of just naked Midas rushing it up. This is like sharing war stories, the Dota equivalent. Here we go. Thank you guys.
Everyone has this. Everyone has this. And yeah, so we're going to see Sand King. Looks like he is going to be moving back towards the top lane. So it's Sand King, Nagasine. I mean, two melee heroes, 2 heroes who are going to struggle a bit here. They haven't blocked the pool, so Sand King can try use that, but he's going to get spotted out by the ward behind the tower. So either way, it's not going to be a very fun time, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on this tier 1 tower very early on.
Yeah, the middle lane, Wagamama gets that first blood, first last hit going this way. And we're just going to have to see how aggressively Infused want to play this. Now, if Naga stays really far back, they're probably not going to kill her. So what do you do in that case? We see some pulling going on here. I really like this. Do you look to push? Is there a certain item, like maybe a Ring of... I guess maybe you want to go for like an early Ring of Basilius, which it looks like EGM is going for. And then I think you just try and push. This is not really a killing tri-lane, although it can.
Yeah, they can if Zenith get a bit too aggressive and get caught out of position, but for the most part, I think it's going to be get the fast passive ring, get any kills on out of position heroes, or just basically spam them off the lane. I mean, they can drop the Fissure plus Illuminate combo. They might not get a kill here, but they can at least force heroes back. They're going to just throw Illuminate down. It does hit the Sand King. And we're going to see just a bit of sort of chipping back and forth for the early levels. But the thing is, this is sort of one of the weaknesses with this Infused Trialians. They do need some levels. Their level 1 nukes are not super powerful, apart unless they're ball bursting down one hero. But as long as Zenith play far enough back, they should be okay.
Yeah, especially for Keeper of the Light. Really does need to get a point in Chakra Magic. You can see Illuminate is actually very mana intensive. It does cost 150 mana at every level. So that's I mean, I talked about how expensive Soul Assumption is. Illuminate is too, and here's the thing: they all need that mana. So maybe this is probably a situation where you just want to give him a little more experience, if anything. Like you said though, Visage needs some too. Well, for the moment, very passive start to the game, and to the extent this stays passive, like you said, it does favor Zenith. Freedom gonna deny an Invisor and head up towards the top lane. For the moment, he's just farming, not trying to be aggressive at all. Has not used that smoke just yet. Darkseer is leading the way, and here we go with Bleak, pressuring that bottom lane. You know Darkseer is a strong hero when he's melee, and he's driving Windrunner past her tower, and out-farming her at her tower.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great start for Bleak. He's having a pretty good time at bottom lane, and it's not going to really get much easier for the Windrunner. Mid lane, it's still Wagamama on the Templar Assassin, 8-3. He's a lot of denies going to Tinker's way, so pretty even so far, which is a good sign for the Tinker because it's not an easy matchup for him. It's going to remain that way though, as the bottle is now up for the Templar Assassin, being flown out. So for the most part, pretty even at mid lane. Same pretty much at bottom lane. Both those two heroes should be getting some decent farm here. You mentioned Darkseer leading the way, but that's something which it's going to be Windrunner still getting a lot of farm. So those two lanes are a bit of a wash, but the top lane, it's pretty interesting. Nagasiren actually with 10 creep kills, so Nagasiren not being put under too much pressure yet. I
feel Infused are not really... Yeah, you might not kill her, but you can really shut her farm down. Double 600 range heroes in this lane. I believe Izaj 600 range. Yeah, he is. I'm very surprised she's getting this farm. I gotta say, I feel they're not really playing the lane quite as effectively as they could be. And here we go. It's a smoke gank. They are gonna look to go on the offensive. Level 3 picked up on Freedom. Top lane, bunch of damage onto Ice. This could turn out to be a masterful bait. And the Soul Subject brings him low. Not gonna be enough. Burrow Strike on 2. Great Burrow Strike. Test of Faith will be available. And there's your first blood. The killing potential going the way of Zenith here. Infused caught with their pants down. Fissure on 2. Not gonna matter. It's an early double kill and a first blood. And gods, we say it every time there's an offensive tri-lane. If you give up these kills, the lane may just be over.
Absolutely, and I mean, look at this. Nagasiren level 5 now, has Tranquil Boots, Magic Stick, Stout Shield. These are just these cheap, cost-effective items you need against a tri-lane as a Nagasiren. And I mean, compare these levels now. Level 5 Nagasiren, level 2 on the EES, the Keeper, and Visage just hitting his level 3. Does have a Bassering and Boots up, but this is not going to be the kind of start that Infused are hoping for with this top lane. You do not run an offensive tri-lane. You don't devote 3 heroes to a lane to give away 2 kills. That's where you put a hero solo and maybe they die a few times, but you get the trade-offs elsewhere. Because think about it, Infused, if they really wanted to, Darkseer could be up top. They could be running the tri-lane down bottom and getting some pulls of their own, keeping things even in the farming department, but they wanted to be aggressive, try to apply pressure to the Naga, and it backfires big time. Now, they do have that option. If they want to make a lane adjustment, I feel they can go bottom, and these heroes, they benefit from items, get some early arcane boots, maybe a mech up. Of course, it takes a while to get there, but they could do some pulling. So, in that sense, I suppose if Infused want to make a lane switch, they could, but it's a big time investment. It's a big monetary investment to buy multiple TP scrolls or walk down. And here we go, iceiceice going to take some damage. Illuminate hits, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, another. Yeah, they don't follow up with the soul capture. Oh, they haven't smoked up, and it doesn't look like it matters because there's no Radiant Ward on that side, and this is not going to be an easy kill for them. I mean, they have got 1 Sentry Ward, but I don't think even with the Sentry Ward they can get the kill. And they're going to rotate back top. I think that's a better option for them as the aggression is coming right under the tower. Iceiceice in a bit of trouble here. He's very, very low. He's been constantly chipped away at. Another Illuminate going to be coming in, just hits the creep wave. As iceiceice is going to be looking for that opening here, though. Here comes the gank. Sanking and Chen are really looking to make something happen here. But Infused, they've got plenty of HP on most of these heroes. Yeah, they also have a wand on Earthshaker. He's going to pop it now. Fissure used immediately. Who are they going to focus on? It looks like they're going to go for the Sand King. Illuminate, great Illuminate. A lot of damage being done, but not enough. One more Soul Assumption could get the kill. Not going to be there in time. Templar Assassin, Wagamama has journeyed up here, as has hyhy. And it looks like Waga will be forced back. Keeper of the Light picks up another kill. I completely missed that one. Was that an Illuminate? That must have been creeps. I don't know. It must have been a creep. There was no Illuminate. It was definitely...
That was a creep.
Okay. Wow, that was a bit of a mistake there, coming out from the... So it ended up being a 2-for-2 trade, and losing the Nagasiren is not what Zenith would have wanted. I thought that was looking good for Zenith. That was a great play by Tinker. They knew the gank was going to be a 3v3 situation, which wasn't going to go well for Zenith, so they had Tinker TP in, but Wagamama responded as well. Didn't actually accomplish much, but the death for Nagasiren sort of basically negated anything they got there. So we're going to see iceiceice actually decide to TP mid, try get some farm there, but so far... things looking okay for both teams. I mean, neither team with a strong lead. I do feel Infused. This is kind of how they wanted things to go, apart from a couple kills not going their way at the top lane. They're going to start to shine now. They've hit level 4 on most of their tri-lane heroes. Some of them will be reaching level 5 soon. Keeper Light's already level 5. They're going to be getting very, very powerful. And here we go. Illuminate going to blast through, melt down that creep wave. And the fact that it hits the catapult is just amazing.
And here we go, Tony back off the tower. HY, Soul Assumption, Fissure as well. I want to say Infused is not really chaining these spells properly. We see Soul Assumption being used first in a lot of cases. Really, you want to have that Earthshaker Fissure first, and then you use Soul Assumption. It does a lot more damage that way. Nonetheless, good harassment. In comes iceiceice. Mini in a bit of trouble here, in a pickle, if you will. There's the net. Mini is looking to be dead. Channels the Illuminate, not going to matter. Fissure blocking HY. He will take a fall, and this is where Visage can shine. Getting that Soul Assumption up. The right click's coming out. The charge is slowly ticking up. His heroes take damage all around him. He only finds the one kill, but with Waga here, maybe they'll go for more phase boots. If he gets these delivered, then I think they can look for some tower dives. This is where Waga can be a real problem. There's no Chen ult. He's only level 5, which is decent for 8 minutes in. But it's not enough necessarily to deal with these tower dives.
And a keeper for a Tinker, that's the trade that Infuse will take any day of the week, and they'll just keep on being aggressive at top lane. And the thing is, Zenith would be pretty aggressive to deal with the offensive trial early on, but now that Visage is level 5, he is just going to wreak havoc if there's any sort of 3v3. Any small skirmishes is where Visage is going to shine, and that's what Zenith was sort of doing earlier on when Visage was a low level, but now he's got the level 3 Soul Assumption. It's going to hurt, not to mention this Illuminate, now level 3 as well, and iceiceice really being pushed very far back in the top lane. A lane we haven't talked about, Darkseer versus Windrunner. How are things going down there? It's actually, well, as it was before, a bit of a wash here. Darkseer out-farming the Windrunner by about 8 or 9 CS. He is he's doing it slightly better here, but for the most part, Loda's still getting a lot of farm for himself as well.
The one thing I'm a little surprised about is that he hasn't done more damage to the tower, and although it's not a standard item you see in Darkseer, maybe this is a game where Bleak should have gone for Arena Basilius just to help keep that push going and pressure the tower more. Either way, it's not a big deal. He's doing a bit of damage, keeping... And the beauty of this is that Loda has to stay bottom. If he leaves, it's almost like a Broodmother, where the tower will drop very quickly. So it requires the commitment. Darkseer getting a lot of farm. What is Bleak actually going for? It's a Pipe Rush. He's going to have this hood up pretty soon.
Yeah, the main thing keeping the tower alive, Windrunner can just pull the creeps off the tower, and you can't actually creep skip in the safe lane, which is why Darkseer often goes to the off lane, because he can just creep skip. So it does make it a bit hard for him, but his team in the off lane are chipping away, bursting down this tower. Oh, EGM taking a bit of damage. He's got the level 6, so he's got the remnants. Windrunner is here. That's your key hero. Fissure being dropped. ES trying to keep himself alive. It looks like Windrunner sanking. Should better pick up this kill. May just need a power shot here. ES in all kinds of trouble. Does go down, but that's just one kill going Zenith's way. A big commitment to this top lane. Bleak TP's in as well. The entire Infused squad is here. They're on the chase. They want some kills. Vacuum from Bleak. Infused, wagamama doing whatever damage he can, and it's going to be a hell of a lot. Tinker goes down, Chen goes down.
Oh no.
Well, sorry, not Tinker, Chen as well, sanking, Naga Siren as well. And it is going to be a big fight for Infused. Wagamama leading the charge. Loda the only one left standing, and he is almost out of mana.
Great
just the
move
magic
by
wand.
Waga, dodging that shackle. Loda will take a fall. Visage just chopping him apart. Feels like a pulling blade when he gets those charges up. A lot of damage, and here's your tower. And for Zenith, Chen's still not level 6. Man, that ult would have made a big difference in that fight. Hasterun bottled up, picked up on HY, who, by the way, I don't believe he joined that fight at all. I think he's just farming mid the entire time. A little surprising, but he should find Mini. This should be an easy kill with the rockets. Very easy kill. That's about as easy as it gets. And Waga's going to look to do a little bottle crowing now. Phase Boots picked up. He is not far off a Blink Dagger. Oh, the Hasterun. Will it even be enough? 2 right clicks. Maybe 3. That's Soul Assumption. Oh, he needed 1 more right click. Just not able to find it. But the bottom lane. Bleak taking some big damage. Will he be able to get away? Should be okay. Although a Tinker TP, a power shot. Oh, Loda, what a snipe there. Great play.
Yeah, that's a kill. Those are the kind of kills Zenith need to start finding and just getting, because these clashes are not going their way. I mean, maybe they'll get 1 or 2 kills in the clashes, but they're always losing more heroes to the Visage as well as the Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin now 1,300 gold. Will be going for that fast Blink Dagger, I imagine. And is actually currying back and forth the bottle a bit, just so he doesn't have to waste time going back to Fountain. He can just keep on farming and keep on sort of being very aggressive. He's going to come to any of those clashes early on with those phase boot build.
The Fissure, the Gargoyle chain stun. Are they going to find it? That Gargoyle, it's stalking iceiceice. Just going to auto attack, and well, they don't do very much damage. By the way, they give an enormous bounty, 100 gold every time you kill them off. So you really do have to be careful about your micro with them. But here we go, the bottom lane push. It's going to commence, and this Visage has a mech already. 12 minutes in. Level 8, he is really having a fantastic game, and we're seeing the power of this hero right now. Winning these early skirmishes, applying pressure in the lane, and then using that pressure to farm up some gold, get your early mech, and now the push. It's not going to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Sanking, the Chen, they're sort of near top lane. They don't, I mean, Chen can't really keep in. He has to move bottom with his creep army. Sanking himself just boots. Magic Stick is not going to make his way there either. And this T1 tower in trouble. I mean, like you mentioned, the early mech. I mean, we've seen on Prophets, this is on a different hero, Visage. He's not going to have many mana problems because of the Keeper of the Light. This push is going to be scary, not to mention now Wagamama has his Blink Dagger up. There's your initiation. Things are going to get very, very sticky for Zenith here, I feel, at the bottom lane.
And guys, here's the best part about this lineup is they have Permanent Fountain between the mech, as well as the Arcane Boots and Keeper of the Light, the Chakra Magic. These guys never have to go home unless they get killed. That's the only way they're going back to the Fountain. And that means relentless pressure on this lane. Bleak's even going to join the fight here after picking up his Hood, and that's another big item pickup. I like the fact that Zenith is not giving that Infused is not giving too much space to breathe here. The concern is, if they don't push quickly enough, hyhy pressuring that top lane, getting close to his boots of travel. Wagamama looking for the big splash, not actually going to find it. Laser will force him back. But for the moment, the push, it is delayed.
Yep, and they will be looking for an engagement. Blodaxi power showing through the trees there, looking for an opening to find a shackle shot, but they don't really want to go on EGM. He is just so tanky. He's got the Gravekeeper's Cloak, which gives him more survivability. Each sort of layer basically works like where you're taking a different layer of damage. Every one you does, it does lower one layer of armor. And basically the first nuke you throw is going to do less damage. The first right click will do less damage, and every attack after that will do more. And it does make him more tanky. He's got the mech as well, 1k HP. He is looking very, very hard to kill. And I mean, Zenith, I mean, they've only got level 5 Sanking. They haven't got the burst damage needed to bring him down.
Here's the thing about Visage, is very similar to Templar Assassin, and in fact, now the Venomancer ban makes even more sense. Damage over time really hurts him, because every time he takes a proc of that damage, it will remove a layer, and so you can cheaply, and in terms of your damage, be efficient with it. Oh, iceiceice looking for the initiation. They don't have level 6. Echo Slam, Burrow Strike through. Keeper of the Light falls. Look at the burst, the power shot. The rockets were even thrown out there. A little too much, and Infused on the back foot. Bleak, no wall picked up. He's level 10, has not opted for a single point yet. And we're out to see if they can get more kills. It is in EGM for the moment, very tanky. Turns it around, picks up the Chen, and he will go down for his trouble. I think there was a buyback by somebody. Yeah, Earthshaker buys back. Look at the Gargoyles doing big, dirty work in this fight. hyhy not able to run away. He's trying to run, but Bleak will hunt him to the ends of the earth and then some. Only Loda going to escape. Big turnaround. Everybody basically died. It's a massacre all around. And are they even done yet? The chain's done, just short of finding Loda. How many deaths were there in that fight? 7? 8? It was a hell of a lot.
That was a lot of kills going both ways, and I'd say Infused coming out slightly on top there. They did lose a couple of support heroes very early on, as well as an ES buyback, but Visage doing the work. He did go down for his troubles, but I feel Infused did come out on top. They're only up by 1 kill overall here, but they're putting on a lot more pressure. They're getting farm levels for their efforts here, and Wago's actually gone for an ultimate orb. I'm not quite sure what he's going to build. I guess, I mean, this is sort of transition to a Manta style, but not the item build I would have expected coming out from him.
Interesting choice here from Waga, and well, the question is, why would you not want to Blink Dagger this game? There isn't a Radiance carrier. There's
misclick.
Nothing.
It must have been a misclick. It's right next to it in the shop, so I think he actually misclicked. Would be my guess. I just can't
sitting
think
here like
I'm
trying to think if there's a good reason to get it, and I don't really see it. Yeah, it must have been a misclick. I mean, possibly you want to go for the quick Manta style, but if you want to do that, you get the Yasha, you don't get the ultimate orb. So even then, this doesn't make sense. And the reason you get the Yasha, of course, is because you already have a lot of survivability through Crack. You don't really need the HP, you don't really need the mana. You've got plenty of heroes to keep you healthy with the mech, with the Keeper of the Light Chakra Magic. So it must have been a misclick, and that's a big misclick. That Blink Dagger is going to do a lot more for you than an ultimate orb, and they want to go on the stand in here. I slay. Not going to find him, but 4 heroes grouped up. Constant spam. Yeah, look at Zenith. They're not really losing too much health on this tower. They do have great anti-push. And this is where that Blink Dagger would change things up, because Waga can just blink in, assassinate one of these defending heroes instead of letting them sit back and blink away.
Yeah, and we'll see the spam coming from the Zenith side. The ES being Invis here. He's been surged up. Sanking now on the run. It looks like Regen may find him, as he is in a bit of trouble here now. Sanking on the run under his tower, though. Could see some backup coming down, just being constantly slowed. Solar Sump just going in. Big stun, actually, hitting all 3 of those heroes. The mech gets popped immediately, and it looks like Infused pick themselves up a kill, and they're looking for more. Wagamama leading the way, going to get shackled up, slowing down, and now they may just decide.
They already have a pipe. I mean, I'm not sure if you just mentioned it, but this is 17 minutes. Pipe, mech. What more do you need? Just go dive their base, and that's what they're going to do. Freedom, 2 gargoyles, fissure. Not even going to need to use those stomps, and the shackle shot, beautiful shackle, but no damage to follow it up, and it's really irrelevant at this point. All Zenith can do is try and split push, which is what we see iceiceice doing. What Tinker would probably like to do. Oh, I just don't know. They have pretty much everything they need to go high ground. The one thing they're lacking is that blink dagger. But if you're just going high ground, maybe you don't even need it. Maybe the Manta style will be just as useful. And here we go, mech popped again. HY pulled back in, no force step. He is absolutely screwed. Burrow strike in, epicenter beat channel. Great shackle shot. Will it be enough damage? The pipe was on cooldown. They lose 1. Waga is going to go down to the march, just stalking him relentlessly here. And Loda as well. Echo slam onto him, sent back to base. Is Zenith somehow finding a way to win this team fight? It looks like they are, and they do it without the Naga sleep. Buybacks all around. They do not want to give up this tower. Bleak, not going to be time. Iceiceice, just enough mana for that ultimate. I feel Bleak should have forced it out of him, chased him a little bit, but he's going to let iceiceice stroll away.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get out of there. I don't think Infused found the fight they want. Like you mentioned, the pipe being on cooldown there really cost them. I mean, that was a big... I mean, they channeled the epicenter with a shackle shot. There was no way of it being cancelled. And then from there on out, Zenith actually managed to win themselves a team fight. And that's what the kind of fight they needed. They were definitely falling behind. XP, gold, they're not doing well so far. And things need a change for them. So Sankin getting a couple kills like that, he's going to get himself close up to some arcane boots, maybe a blink dagger. He needs to have some sort of big initiation, as well as just the levels. I mean, he's only just reached level 7. So he wants to get a few more levels here just to level up. Even getting the max sandstorm can have a big difference here. So Infused need to be careful. They can't afford to have too many fights like that. And I think they also need this blink dagger up. Wagamama just a couple hundred gold away from it, despite buying that ultimate orb.
Yeah, and then he'll have an ultimate orb and a blink dagger, which even if he gets the items in the wrong order, still pretty good farm on him. That's the thing for Infused. It's not, they're not only ahead because of towers, they do have some late game potential as well. We talked about it earlier. Vacuum into Echo Slam, Fissure following up, the Gargoyle stomping death. If they can find that right initiation, and you have Waga can sort of dive in first, be that tank for your team, and try and bait Zenith into a bad position, that's where we could see things get really bad. So, Infused, they make a couple of mistakes, but they are still very much in control of this game. Over 5k gold lead, about a 2k experience lead, which considering they were running an offensive tri-lane, and the enemy team has a jungling Chen, is still quite solid. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I mean, Zenith had managed to do a good job at this top lane especially, getting those 2 towers, and I feel with this 3k gold on iceiceice, if they can get up, well, I imagine what's going to... It looks like he may be going for the fast Radiance unless he transitioned into a heart, but if he was going for the heart, he'd probably want to pick up the Vitality booster before going for that Reaver here, so it looks like a Radiance build coming out from iceiceice. He's going to go for the backdoor the tier 1 tower, and Visage is there, and this is going to force iceiceice back. He needs to be careful. He does have the Song of the Siren and then can just TP out, so I don't think you're going to be able to kill him here.
Right, but if you waste that Song of the Siren, that's a 2-minute cooldown, and maybe that's where Infused get aggressive. Well, they're not actually going to go for it. Tower's denied, but I feel iceiceice is pretty content just to have it knocked down, and there you go. It's a Reaver. He's trying to tank up. And against Infused, this is necessary. They have a lot of burst damage. Regen almost has his Blink Dagger, and that means even more initiation. This might be a game for Bleak to get one too, honestly. He's got a Vitality booster, could just look to tank up, but we've seen some players before, I think most notably 1437 on Mouseboard, get that quick blink on Darkseer, and in the mid game, blink into a vacuum. Earthshaker blinks on top of that, and that's a pretty good team fight right there.
Oh yeah, that's something that's going to be looking pretty scary and hard for Zenith to deal with, especially, I mean, catching out heroes like Tinker who are going to be looking to sort of stay on the skirts of the fight. Speaking of Tinker, not much farm on him. He's got his travels, he's got his soaring, still does not have that 4 stuff up. He's trying to get it up now. He's about 500 gold away from it, but he's had a tough time so far, and Infused want to punish that. They're going to go for a Roche, and they're going to get the Aegis on Wagamama by the looks of things here. Hasn't opted for the Blink Dagger, so maybe going for something else. I guess Lincoln Sphere.
I mean, what else could it be?
I would say Lincoln Sphere is slightly more viable than a Manta style, because you can. I think you can block the Song of the Siren with the Lincoln Sphere. I'm not sure if that still works with the way the Song of the Siren was changed, but
right.
I guess Lincoln Sphere is a possibility. I mean, you can block Burrow Strikes, you can block lasers, so possibly going to be what Wagamama opts for here. It does give him a lot of survivability.
This is a little bit outlandish, perhaps, but could it be a Scythe of Vice? I feel that would be very valuable, and he's not far off if he wants to go for it. It would be very unorthodox for TA. She's normally damage dealer, not even more of a utility here. Oh, mid lane. Tower not going to be denied, and iceiceice. Reverb already picked up. He's getting pretty fat. There's no damage, but he is very tanky right now. And he's going to bet hard soon. Yeah, back to
iceiceice the last 5-10 minutes has just been aggressively solo pushing towers, and there's been no ganks going his way.
Yeah, I think Infused is really misplaying this. Sure, you're not going to kill him, but force him to use that ult and then punish him for wasting it. But they're not doing it so far. Fissure on 3 heroes. Iceiceice getting into a bit of trouble. He does have that sleep. Will he be forced to use it? Driving Region back. Very, very tanky. He is absolutely in the middle of everything, and here we go. He's probably going to have to burn that ult. He does it now. Has to make sure he catches everyone, and then he'll TP out. But the gargoyles, they're not affected. They're going to cancel the TP. I'm not sure if it's going to matter. The trap, the fissure. Oh, if he dies and he doesn't actually have his ult, this will be an absolute catastrophe for Zenith, and he will go down.
Wow.
And now they barrel down mid. The death ball, it's coming, gods. And I don't think Zenith can deal with it. They don't have buyback.
Visage.
Oh, he does.
Visage the new Naga Siren counter, apparently. I mean, those birds, not getting slept. I mean, it makes sense that they don't. And what a great counter. It does, yeah, he does have buyback Naga Siren. He actually buys back in the game here.
Just had it.
Yeah. And luckily we are only 23 minutes in. That was a very cheap buyback. Cost them only about 700. And Winrun actually picks up the tier 1 bottom tower. So this is still... Zenith's been getting 3 towers all game long. They're actually ahead in terms of towers here. Infused have not done a very good job of defending their towers here.
Very premature pipe use again mid. And that means the push is over until that pipe cools down. They do need it. Even though they're fairly tanky, they have some big items. We saw in the last fight that Echo Slam, or excuse me, the Epicenter, the Tinker March, the Rocket Spam, lots of nuke damage. Oh, vacuum onto the low ground. Iceiceice gets caught horribly out of position. He was not counting on that. Will he get a worse damage? Not going to be in time, and he will go down. And this time, gods, there's no buyback. They have 50 seconds with him on the sidelines, and this is time. With that pipe cooling down in 20 seconds, they're going to siege this one up. They may not kill it. Oh, another vacuum! This is looking like Ferrari's Force Staff Invoker initiations by Bleak. And Shackle not going to latch. Mechanism as well. They're going to back off for the moment. And actually, they're going to hold because they have a Taker and a Windrunner. It was looking real bad there for a second when Loda also got pulled in, though.
Yeah, they've got some nice turtling heroes. Tinker, Windrunner, and Chen has got the 3 best creeps possible for defending. Well, 3 Wildkins, 3 Tornadoes, just chucking them up from as far back as possible. And that's annoying. That's pesky. That's a lot of AoE consistent damage, and it does sort of chip away at these heroes. Pipe and Mech are great, but like you mentioned, the preemptive Pipe, they had to wait for it to cool down. And even by the time it's back up, they're already very, very low and just sort of forced to basically retreat, defend their lanes. It's going to be HY pressuring the top lane. Rishon actually goes looking for him, not going to find him at top. But Infused, they're not finding the opening to go high ground as of yet, or at least they can get the kills by running in, but they're not being able to do the damage, get enough kills, and then get the tower and racks just yet. They're going to maybe wait. They've still got the Aegis, and they can go again soon.
Everybody that infused his items, Force Staff, Arcane Boots, Ring of Health, and a Magic Wand, all up on the Keeper of the Light. Offensive tri-lane support there. If we look towards EGM, he's got an Aghanim's Mechanism picked up, as well as some basic utility. Region, we mentioned earlier, the Blink Dagger on him. Bleak, 2,400 gold in the bank. Is it a heart? I think it might be, or maybe he'll just hang on to the Vitality Booster. Won't turn into anything yet, but it could be an... no, I'm not sure what he's going for. Whatever he wants, he's got it pretty soon. HY, pulled back in by the vacuum. Bleak giving chase the Ion Shell, but there's your laser doing some damage. The trap, Burrow Strike in. Oh, he gets caught out. It's a trap! It's a trap! And it's not enough of a trap! Isn't enough of a trap! No, the mech turns it around! HY is gonna take a fall, and now Iceiceice uses the ult a bit too late, but the Familiars, oh, this time he just narrowly escaped. Sand King has his blink, he blinks away. Again, Infused, just so damn hard to kill. This is ridiculous.
I know, that was crazy. They didn't want to chase on the wall, and Bleak surviving. Elsewhere, wagamama's picked up an item. He's gone for a Desolator now. So Ultimate Orb picks up the Desolator. Bit of a transition there. I guess the Ultimate Orb does give him some nice stats and survivability. He could have gone for something like a Drum of Endurance, of course.
Right.
But he can turn this item into something bigger later on. I think we'll see the Manta style or a Lincoln Sphere, or even the Sheepstick that you mentioned. I think Scythe of Vice, if you're ganking the Naga Siren, that's a way to make sure he doesn't get off the ultimate. And Infused, with the way they're farming, we're going to see that next big item come up pretty quickly here. Tier 2 tower going to go down.
Look at Iceiceice, such a troll with these creeps right now, pulling the whole wave back with his illusions, while pressuring the middle lane simultaneously. Good multitasking from him. And they've had the Aegis for a while on Waga, and he's big, but he's not killing things, and that's what you pick TA to do, is to kill things. I still think he can carry this late game, but it's just very strange to see. Sure, she's a decent farmer, she has some good AoE, but this is not the style of TA that we've come to expect. You know, players like Sexy Bamboo diving towers, blinking between heroes, bobbing and weaving their way through the enemy back lines, getting mega kills, sometimes feeding horribly, but always making it exciting. This is a farming kind of passive map control style TA, and it's working fine, but it's just very different.
Yeah. He's coming to the team fights, but it's not like he's cleaning up and, like you say, the mega kills, the big WoDota players aren't there, but he is providing the support and backup for his team it needs. And I mean, heroes like the ES are giving them the lockdown they need to actually get a kill or at least do some damage there. So I think with this Desolate, he's going to start really hitting hard and killing heroes quickly enough that he can start maybe getting some kill streaks going during these fights. But Zenith going to be very defensive. Godzstudios actually picked up by the Tinker, and I feel we may see a couple of those. Well, maybe not a couple, as there aren't too many other heroes who'd like to buy one. The Chen would probably love one, as would maybe Sand King. Sand King has finished off his Blink Dagger, though.
There's still some good nuke damage to come from this Radiant lineup, so I don't think a Ghost Scepter is a total solution by any means, but it will be helpful, and Wagner, like you said, is the big, hefty damage dealer. By himself, probably does more than all the nukes combined with a couple of right clicks. Oh, the Surgeon, the Vacuum In, the Trap, the Force Staff, away, HY, deep dive by Bleak, and he's going to pay for this one. Pipe is used, Blink in, Epicenter, Burrow Strike not hitting Bleak, that was the one he needed to catch out, and Bleak, in spite of just going so far towards the enemy base, he drives them back. Now they can work at the tower. Nope, just kidding, they can't, because we have that triple tornado middle lane. Tower, tier 3 is breached, iceiceice doing the big damage, and that forces the TPs back. And this is exactly what Zenith want to do now. Just split push, stall the game out. Sleep was used, no familiars here, he'll TP away. And now I believe it's level 16. No, he's still only 13. So that cooldown's still significant.
Yeah, I think he's just not coming to the team fights anyway, so he's just going to keep going for the split push. He probably won't do that as aggressively as he was there until he has the ultimate back up, so he can just play sort of more passively, keep on farming, get that hard up. That's going to be his first big item. He's getting pretty close to it, just needs another 600-700 gold. And elsewhere we do see Zenith picking themselves up, whatever utility items they can. I mean, Reno and Loda's got both Pipe, Mech as well, so some decent item progression for Zenith. I mean, they're not out of this by any means.
Yeah, they're definitely not. They are getting some good items. So you mentioned the Aghanims and Chen. That's very nice when you're dealing with these prolonged sieges, just to be able to heal your team up repeatedly. Limit the Fountain Charge, because even running from your tier 3 to the Fountain, that means Tinker's not spamming his March for a couple seconds, and it might just give Infused the opening they need to breach the high ground. I wanted to ask your opinion, though. How do you actually feel about Aghanims on Visage? You get 3 familiars, but I'm just not sure how effective familiars really are in the mid to late game, especially against the mobility and lockdown of a team like Zenith. I feel like they could be kited for the most part, and, well, maybe he could have gone for something a little bit more utility-based, like a Yule Scepter, or even more towards an Assault Cuirass. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this item pickup?
I don't think familiars scale that well into the late game. They also take a lot of damage from March and Machine, Naga Siren right-click damage. Naga Siren's going to snare them. I mean, I feel they are just going to provide, I mean, to some extent, gold. I mean, they're useful for the big stuns, and I think at level 16, those, I mean, that's 3, that long duration stuns, but it takes a lot of, I mean, that takes some high-level micro if you're using each one individually, and what you'll see most players doing is just grouping them together. He's doing the same thing. They're all flying together. He's not individually microing each one, so he'll tab through the stuns and stun one by one, but it's still not going to be the sort of StarCraft 2 level of micro that's going to do some amazing things with them. So I feel it's not going to be the most effective item. I feel a Sheepstick or something else, even a Shiva's Guard, would have maybe been a bit more effective.
Yeah, Shiva's Guard, that's another great example. And that's something, I mean, look at Zenith. They have these Force Staffs, but if you have traps plus Shivas, even if you actually Force Staff away, you can still be caught pretty easily. They don't have anybody like a Lycan who doesn't care about slow. Zenith are concerned about that. And I'm looking to get an iceiceice. We have not really been looking at his farm too much as of late. At least I haven't. And he still doesn't have the heart. Sure, they're all getting farm up, but this is not the kind of crazy item progression you want for a Naga who's been doing nothing but farming all game. She's still way behind in terms of creeps. And this is something Infused is doing a great job. They are out farming Zenith across the board. Sure, Zenith is getting their farm. They're getting theirs, I guess you could say. But Infused are definitely maintaining the sleeve. And in fact, it's going up. Yeah. It's still going up.
And they're going to look to get an Aegis as well on top of that. Maybe that's what they're waiting for before they try break on through the Zenith defenses. It's just about to respawn here. The Visage, the Familiars are there. And I think Zenith, they're grouping up. They know it's going to be coming back online soon. Naga Siren, Sleep, Song of the Siren is ready. And there we go, Roshan respawn. Both teams hovering around. Both teams have it all warded up. We'll see if Zenith want to pop a smoke and make it go for this or not.
Such an aggressive, frantic start to this game, and now it's turned into a very sort of calculated, deliberate style. This game is just leaving me very confused emotionally as a caster, as a fan of Dota. I don't know what to expect. Maybe we're gonna at some point there will be that punctuation mark on this game and that crazy action, but we're not at that moment yet. So the tension, it continues to build slowly but surely. And for Infused right now, you mentioned Roshan. That is a big objective. Obviously, they need to get the lanes pushed out to handle it, and that can be tough against Zenith because they have the Naga Siren, the Windrunner, and the Tinker, all great split pushers. Sand King not even half bad himself. Maybe what they're going to wait for is the Scythe of Ice on Bleak and another damage item on Waga, who is pretty close. Manta Style is an option. We talked about Lincoln's. We talked about Scythe of Ice. The last one that's even theoretically possible is an Eye of Skady. Would give him some more chase, but the double orb effect, probably not a very good choice.
No, he may not even use the ultimate orb. I think he may even just go for a BKB here and not worry about even turning the ultimate orb into something until we get even later on in the game. But I feel BKB would be a very useful item to have against the Naga Siren Sleep, the Sand King, and the Windrunner as well. Even the Tinker, I mean, lasers, there's a lot of use to getting a BKB at this point, and he's just about to have enough gold for it.
GoDz, I don't know if it's just you, but I'm starting to have this feeling this game may go 70 or 80 minutes. It's a big prediction, I know, but Zenith have the perfect lineup to avoid a fight, and also a perfect lineup to really make a push difficult. So it just feels like they keep on trying to push. They're gonna get an Aegis on Waga soon. Maybe. Oh, it's a Scythe device. Oh man. When I'm right, I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'm very wrong. But when I'm right, man. Scythe device.
It's like the old school Shadow Fiends that used to sometimes go for it. It looks like Roshan will go down, Waga will pick it up. And that's going to make it, I mean, well, getting kills is going to be pretty straightforward. Bleak picks up a Scythe of Ice of his own as well. So double sheep sticks over on the Infused camp. Iceiceice doing all he can, and that's just split pushing. Going for the counter push at top lane.
Look at the
just
wards.
Not wanting to come and have to defend yet. And it's going to force a TP back. Wagamama is going to have to get back and defend, as he is going to be looking for Iceiceice though.
He's got this. They have to get pickoffs. They just can't go high ground otherwise. There's too much split push. And iceiceice, they wildly miss him. Earthshaker blinking exactly the wrong direction. But the familiars have the scent, they're not going to chase. And is he even going to TP out? I thought he might stay here, but he doesn't have mono regen. The Rage Creep going to scout him out. And let Infused know that he's backed off. So, look at Loda. This is a lot of one hero. This is probably the one you use that Scythe of Ice on, I would say. Pipe, Mechanism, as well as the Force Staff. Plus all the other utility Windrunner gets from her skills. I would even say she's more important than the big damage dealers and sort of your carry heroes in the Naga, the Tinker, even the Sand King. To me, this Windrunner must die first.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry much about the Sand King epicenter. I mean, the mech, the pipe will negate it. Not to mention, the Radiant team are just starting to get fairly tanky, fairly survivable themselves. They've got 4 stuff, they've got ways to maneuver around. So I think focusing down the Windrunner with the Sheep Stick will be a great way to go. They've got 2 sheep sticks, so they can look for the second one elsewhere. And Bleak is he searched himself up. He's going to be okay. Burrowstrike actually missing there. Shackle shot not going to land. All the trees around him didn't find it. And what a big vacuum epicenter. Zenith in all kinds of trouble here. The stun out from the Sand King not going to be enough. I don't think they popped their own pipe by the look of things. Zenith now on the back foot. Sand King going to go down. Are there going to be any other big losses? Windrunner sent home. Chen in the trees will get out. Zenith cut their losses there. And that could have gone a lot worse for them, I feel.
And they're going to try and group up and push bottom, but top lane, it's hyhy applying the pressure. 3,400 gold on him. He's starting to get the big items. That forces a TP back from Waga. With the Scythe of Ice, Tinker has to be very, very careful. Oh, he's going to TP out, GoDz. This could be a disaster. Oh, he doesn't have the Blink Dagger. That's right. I was like, well, where's the Blink Scythe? I really think he should get one now, though, because then you have some great initiation.
And Naga Siren Illusion's just forcing the damage at mid lane. This mid tier 3 tower.
Right there, the ones who are
low.
pushing.
It's practically deniable. And meanwhile, ES gets picked off at bottom. I mean, this split pressure coming from Zenith, they're just sort of, in some ways, outclassing Infused. Infused, who have a big item lead. They've got a superior hero composition based on their items as well, and they're just getting picked off and just maneuvered around by Zenith at the moment. Visage looks like he's going to go down as well. Mini forced up to the low ground here.
They're all going to die.
EGM alive, not going to do so. Yeah, this is not looking good.
There's a haster. Midi might be able to survive, but they catch Bleak. Bleak has the buyback if he dies, but losing it, being forced to use that now could be a big problem. so much chain stun. I can't imagine he lives here, but in comes wagamama. The big damage on the Loda. Loda will just melt instantly. No utility items left. Freedom hexed up. The double sight device working wonders here for Infused, turning that fight around. And Bleak, he's at full health. This is Darkseer for you, man. The pipe, the sight, the vitality booster. It doesn't matter if you have 5 heroes surrounding him. He's just going to calmly stand there, take 0 damage, kill your team, chase you down, and then look to go high ground.
Yeah, and this is the chance that Infused, for once they don't have to defend their lanes. Top lane's fairly far up, but there's no pressure there. Tinker has to be at base defending, and iceiceice not in a position to do any split pushes. This is still level 15. His ultimate, it's got the 2-minute cooldown. It goes down to 1 minute at level 16, but he's just not there yet.
Even so, there's the net on the familiar Shackle as well. Looking to go, Loda force-staffed in, force-staff away, and now he's held in place. The side device, this is their big utility here. He's going to die again. Blink in, Epi. Will it be enough? Mech. Wagamama dropping low. Wagamama has an Aegis. He doesn't give 2 hoots. He's going to pick up a kill. Bleak. This would be a big loss if he goes down, but Surge available. He will just die. Waga focusing the tower. Doesn't care about iceiceice. Perhaps he should. There you go. A meld crit. Gonna slice and dice him. The TP in, the buyback from Taker. Don't TP in. Don't TP in. He does it. And this could be a mistake. Net onto Waga. Waga did use the Aegis. If he dies again, that'll be all she wrote. He'll be forced to buy back, and iceiceice chewing through the refraction. Waga looking to run away. Force staff in. The burst damage. They bring him down. The tower's still not breached. Wow, Zenith, they're defending 2 on 4, and look how low everybody is. They want to fight, they can't. Maybe it's a bait. Vacuum back behind the fissure. Iceiceice, he's going to take a fall too. Do they have enough, though, to keep on going? I don't think they do. Man mode for hyhy. Mini down to 10 health. Are you kidding me? Will it be enough? hyhy sent home. Oh, gods, help me out, man. These players are killing me right now.
Zenith are somehow holding on. By the skin of their teeth, they are alive. They managed to
not
kill
done.
Waga, and that was the key thing. And it is, yeah, Sand King's trying to make something happen, blinking forward, but wow, I mean, Infused have just tried absolutely everything, every play in the book, and it's just not working quite yet. They're just getting so close to breaking through Zenith's defenses, but just not quite there yet, and now Naga Siren has the level 3 ultimate. That's going to be a very short cooldown on that, but is that, I mean, it's not a cooldown, I mean, sure, it's a really fast cooldown, but it's not an ultimate that alone will win team fights. They need other stuff to combo with it. It's not going to, just because you've got that 60-second cooldown isn't going to mean that Zenith are in a much better position now. It does give him a lot more sort of counter-push potential. He's not going to, he can do it a lot more often and frequently, but still, Infused in a strong position here.
This is, oh, there you go. Dagger picked up on hyhy. They want that big burst damage. Level 2, he can bring it higher than that. Come on, buddy. I want to see that level 5 Dagon Ethereal Blade. He's not going to go for it yet, but it's coming, guys. And that's going to really work well, I think, if he can find the openings to chew apart heroes like Earthshaker, who, by the way, has a Ghost Scepter. This is now going to become his own worst enemy if he mistimes it. Sure, they've got the pipe, they've got the mech. They have some good survivability, but this is a way to just sort of brute force punch your way through that defense, try and just instantly melt a hero down, and we'll have to see if it pans out, but I love it. I love it even if it doesn't work. hyhy being aggressive and trying to make something happen for his team with the item.
And Wagamama's gone for the crit here. I feel this is the perfect item to have. The meld crit can do massive amounts of insta damage here.
Both
and that's
teams,
going to force
they're
out
getting
very
their big
fast
damage
Ghost
now.
Scepters. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Tinker's Dagon level 2. He can get up to level 3, level 4 soon. I think he wants to have buyback at the moment, though. That's his main priority. If he goes down, there's going to be almost no possibility of Zenith defending.
Right, that's probably it. Or maybe, even when he has the money, he may want the E-Blade first. I believe overall you can do more damage. And the cooldown is irrelevant on that Dagon because of course you have the rearm ability to instantly bring it back. So the mana cost does scale down. The damage goes up, but I think overall the Ethereal Blade will give you more damage, sort of bang for your buck, if you can purchase it. Either way, if he wants it, he's just about got it, but like you said, buyback will be objective number 1. Aside from that Tinker, it doesn't seem like anybody's really picking up items right now. The Chad sitting on Aghanim's arcade boots, seems like he's going to be trapped with that for the rest of this game. Who has this late? I mean, if this goes 80 minutes or, you know, some crazy long time, who actually has the edge? We're getting to that point.
I think, I mean, for the Radiant team, they haven't got the best late game. It's all about the Templar Assassin. Their heroes like Visage don't scale that well. Darkseer does great. You've always got the wall of replica. He's got some big item progression as well.
Oh, the blink dagger.
Visage isn't too good. Keeper of the Light actually does and will do decently because the recall will give him great utility.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, the farm there is ridiculous. But the fact recall is such a strong spell late game because you can have a hero defending and then recall them to the fight, recall them to the push. It's a great way of dealing with that Naga Siren counter push that keeps on happening. So I feel Keeper of the Light is going to be a pretty effective late game hero. Zenith, the Chen isn't going to do a whole lot. Windrunner's not going for any damage, it's gone pure utility. Sand King has not had the best game by any means, and I feel that it's going to be Infused who still have the edge in a late game scenario.
It's only HY. He's your big damager, especially if you get up that Ethereal Blade Dag on 5, you can pretty much wombo. I mean, you become your own wombo combo, really. You can just insta-give heroes with a double Ethereal Blade Dagon combination. That will do, I want to say, upwards of 2,000 damage instantly, or in a matter of seconds. And of course, with the follow-up, the chain stun, it is pretty easy to get it off, if you can find the openings. But with that being said, he's also a glass cannon in his own right, so, well, we'll have to see. HY is going to have the best positioning of his life, and some amazing timing. He does have some decent setup, iceiceice, as well as the Sand King. Will it be enough? Well, for the moment, the calm before the storm. Wagamama waiting for Roshan.
Yep, and this is going to be cheese and ages. Wagamama getting close to a Daedalus as well. Oh man, this is, I feel great. Calm before the storm. This next Roshan, whether there's a fight, if there's no fight in contest of the Roshan, it's going to come right after when Infused try and basically tighten the noose, take out Zenith, push onto the high ground like we've seen them try a couple times already. Somewhat unsuccessful. I mean, the bottom push, I mean, they didn't actually lose that team fight horrifically. It was sort of an even trade. They got pushed back, but they didn't lose the fight. They did a lot of damage to the tower, so I still say Infused in a good position here, and Roshan just about to respawn. And it's going to be basically Infused grouping up for that. HY top, trying to be careful.
Big smoke wraparound. This is a pretty awful time to be trying to bait that top lane. Roshan respawning. Did they not write the time down? Because this bait, there's no chance of it working. And in fact, Tinker TP's way. Another reason why it won't work. There's your big crits coming out. He doesn't have the Daedalus yet. And he's going to get an Aegis. And the question is, who does the cheese go to? Aegis to Waga. And cheese? What
cheese to EGM. The Visage.
Well, that'll mean the Vlad and the mech are a little bit more survivable.
Yeah, similar to Windrunner, there's a lot banking on this Visage to be alive. Provide the auras. Provide the, I mean, not so much, and not just auras, it's non-stop soul assumption. That spell has a 4-second cooldown, so you want Visage to stay alive, continue spamming them. And he's got the Vlads as well as the mech. He's a key hero. It's kind of like the Windrunner. If Windrunner goes down very early on, the fight, well, then it's still a chance. It's not going to be looking good for them. That's a lot of utility that's going to be lost.
Oh, they want this Darkseer, but could they have chosen a more impossible to kill target? I don't think so. And they're going to TP on top, but here comes the counter push bottom. This Darkseer, I mean, he's got to defend top, I suppose, because the push is coming. We're going to see a split push, which means who's going to blink first here? Who should blink first? Both teams have some great anti-push. We haven't really seen Infuse use theirs, but Darkseer alone may be able to fault this push. The question is, if he uses his wall here and then the enemy team TP's back, they're not going to have that big ult when they need it. This is interesting.
It looks like Darkseer's going to defend and they're going to try to recall him in, but Zenith may engage on Bleak at top lane if they can find the opening. Bleak playing so far back. Some great positioning from him. Naga Siren goes mid. Naga Siren's going for the backdoor at mid lane. Bleak is not really in position to defend that. TP back, gonna get cancelled in fact. Naga Siren pops the ultimate.
Tinker goes down!
Going for that push.
And he buys back.
Tinker goes down, and this is going to be a rack straight by the looks of things. Zenith going all in at top. Infused all in at bottom. Infused definitely going to get themselves in the hand of the racks. Can Zenith do the same? Zenith pushing slightly slower. They've taken the tier through at mid, but they haven't actually got the top lane. And oh no, Bleak goes in. Back to cheap sticks. Chen in all sorts of trouble. Infused meanwhile, bottom lane. Things are not too good for them.
Everywhere. Oh, EGM is going to go down. He drops the gem. I believe he is buyback. Blink it. Echo Slam. Fissure as well. HY taking a lot of damage. Bleak has joined the fight. Vacuum back in the wall. Actually, a pretty awful wall because they weren't pulled into it. They're going to run through it anyway. iceiceice does not care. So far, it is neither team claiming a Rex. What the hell? What am I watching right now? Oh my god. This is where you need picture-in-picture, by the way, because that fight that you were casting top, literally at the exact same moment, there was huge action bottom, and finally some damage in the hands of iceiceice. He gets his hand on the Diffusal Blade, but the Rax goes down to the Familiars as well as the Darkseer Illusion. They finally do it, God. They crack through that wall, they breach the defense, but it's only one lane of Rex. This is not GG by any means. Zenith have great counter push, they have some good team fight. They're not out of the woods just yet on the part of Infused.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that was just so their counter push. They kept their racks alive somehow, just through sheer brute force at both mid and top lane. They forced TPs back, they forced just confusion for Infused, who somewhat panicked. They did come out on top, and now they're going to look to do so again at mid lane. They're going for this tier 3 tower. They've still got the Aegis, and this is going to be very hard for Zenith to defend. They're popping Song of the Siren, but almost to stall more than anything. HY and the Tinker. He's got no buyback. He's out of the fight, and I think with that, Infused can get themselves in another set of rashes. Sanking, Epicenter, Blink. Is this going to be enough for Zenith? The mech, the pipe, it's proving to be too much, though. Infused, the survivability for them, not to mention Zenith. They pop the Hand of God. The one thing that is not going to remain standing is going to be this mid-racks, the melee racks as well as the rain racks, both being focused down. Infused have found the way to break through the Zenith defense, LD.
Oh my goodness, Wagamama, he's gonna go down. He does have the edge. It's like he's just trying to drive a stake through the hearts right now. The pile driver, Wagamama, looking for his next target. Shackle, not actually gonna latch here. Meanwhile, HY with a huge double kill, and Waga caught out, back in the wall. Oh, what a perfect wall. And we're seeing Darkseer do some work. Is it enough, though? Waga, Diffusal Blade, he can't run from this. The burst damage, not going to be enough. HY overwhelms him. Fissure, Bleak in the middle of it all. The man who cannot die. The man with 20,000 lives. And Wagamama, the buyback, Boots of Travel, joins the fight. Taker goes down as well. I have no idea where that even happened, to be perfect. Oh, he was in the back lines. It gets picked off, and finally, no Taker buyback. I think they can do it, gods. Infused, they might have just pulled off. I don't want to call it the impossible, but the really damned hard nibble.
They made it look hard, that's for sure. I have to say they were in a strong position for most of the game, but actually it was more Zenith made it look damn hard. They held on so long. Such a great defensive team, such a great all-around team, and some fantastic play coming out from them. It's not over yet. Sanking doing all he can to stall. He's at the mid lane. He's trying to keep things alive. Wagamama insta-KOs him. xfreedom takes a crit as well. That one not doing as much damage, though. And it looks like the tier 4 towers are going to go down. They're going to try and get the throne here. They could have gone for maybe a top racks here. But trying to go for this throne here. They get both the towers here, and it looks like this could be it for Zenith.
Oh, it's dropping too fast. There's no way. There's no way Zenith can pull this off, right? Am I right? Yep, it looks like it will go down. Freedom, a little bit of fountain dive before it's all said and done. Whew! That was an epic of a game. Only 50 minutes. And I say only because it felt like 70 or 80. So much mind game, so much maneuvering, so much posturing for positioning. In the end, Infused prevail. We really liked their draft, the synergy, the creativity in terms of the hero picks. They put it together, they make it work. Zenith played great, but it's not enough. And we headed to game number 2 of this best out of 3 after a brief break. I am LD, he is GoDz. You're watching the Pro Dota 2 World League on Beyond the Summit, and we'll be back in a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere, guys. You won't want to miss this.